My name is Lisa, and I will never forget the day my son looked up at me with shaky eyes and said, "Mom, please. I don't want to take Aunt's pills anymore." We were sitting in the doctor's office when he said it. His small hand was sweating inside mine. The white walls felt too quiet. The clock on the wall was ticking so loudly, it sounded like it was counting down to something bad. The doctor was standing in front of us, holding a tiny white bottle. My sister's bottle. The same pills she had been giving my son, to help him sleep. The doctor looked from my son, to me, then back to the pills. He took a deep breath and said in a low, serious voice, "Lisa, I need you to stay calm. These pills are not what you think they are. And they could have." My heart started beating so fast I could hear it in my ears. What do you mean? Not what I think. What had my sister been giving my child? Before I tell you what the doctor found, I want you to stay with me till the end of this story. Please, if you are watching this, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss more true and emotional stories like this. Also, do something for me. Tell me in the comments where you are watching from. Just write your country or your city. I want to know who is sitting with me in this moment. Now, let me take you back to where everything started, before that day in the doctor's office. It began 3 months earlier. At that time, I thought my life was finally becoming easier. I was a single mother, working long hours at a grocery store. My son, Daniel, was 9 years old, smart, kind, always full of questions. He used to run around the house pretending to be a superhero, jumping from sofa to sofa, shouting, "Mom, I will protect you. I'm your hero." We laughed a lot back then. Then my older sister, Aunt Grace, moved in with us. She had lost her job and her apartment. She called me one night, crying on the phone. "Lisa, please. I have nowhere else to go. Can I stay with you for a while?" I didn't even think twice. "Of course," I said. "You're my sister. Come." When she arrived, Daniel was so happy. "Aunt Grace," he shouted, running into her arms. She brought gifts. New sneakers for Daniel, chocolate, and a bright red toy car he had always wanted. She helped me around the house, cooked dinner, cleaned the kitchen, and watched Daniel whenever I had to work late. I told everyone, "Grace is a blessing. I don't know what I'd do without her." But slowly, very slowly, little things started to change. It began with the vitamin story. One evening, I came home tired. My feet were hurting, my back was sore, and I just wanted to sleep. Grace was in the kitchen, washing plates. Daniel was already in bed. "How was he today?" I asked. "He was a bit hyper," she said, drying her hands. "But don't worry. I gave him something to help him rest. Just a little vitamin. It will help him sleep better." I frowned. "Vitamin? What vitamin?" She waved her hand like it was nothing. "Oh, don't be scared. It's just something my doctor once gave me when I couldn't sleep. I cut it very small. Just a tiny piece." He slept so peacefully. I felt a small worry in my chest. "You gave him your medicine?" I asked slowly. She laughed. "Lisa, relax. I know what I'm doing. It's not strong. Kids need rest. He sleeps too late and wakes up too early. This will help his brain." I didn't like it. But Daniel did look peaceful in his bed that night. His face was soft. His breathing was slow. Maybe she was right. I tried to push the worry away. The changes came in small pieces. First, Daniel stopped waking up early. He used to jump on my bed and say, "Mom, wake up. You're going to be late." But now, I was the one shaking him. "Daniel, sweetie, wake up. It's time for school." 5 more minutes, he whispered, eyes half closed. His body felt heavy when I pulled the blanket off him. Like he had stones inside his arms and legs. Then his teacher started sending messages. Daniel seems very tired in class. He's not finishing his work. He's quiet. This is not like him. When I asked him, "Are you okay?" he only shrugged. "I'm just tired, Mom." At night, I began noticing something else. Many times when I came home late from work, I saw Grace sitting on the sofa and Daniel lying beside her, his head on her lap. Sometimes his eyes were half open, like he was awake and sleeping at the same time. And on the table, always a glass of water. One night, I saw it clearly. Grace held a small white pill between her fingers. She placed it on Daniel's tongue. He swallowed it slowly with the water. I froze for a second. "Grace, what was that?" I asked. She looked up, surprised, like she didn't expect me to see. "Oh, Lisa, you scared me. It's just the same vitamin. Remember. It helps him sleep." My chest tightened. "We never agreed to give him that every night," I said. She rolled her eyes a little. "Do you want him to struggle with sleep? Do you want him restless every night?" "I'm just helping. You're always tired from work. You should thank me, not attack me." Her words made me feel guilty. Maybe I was overreacting. Maybe I was just stressed. So I kept quiet. But my heart knew something was wrong. Then came the day that changed everything. It was a Sunday afternoon. The sky was gray, and it looked like rain. I was folding clothes on the bed when Daniel quietly walked into my room. He closed the door behind him. "Mom," he said in a small voice. "Yes, sweetheart?" I asked, still folding. He stood there for a moment, holding something in his hand. When I looked up, his eyes were shiny, like he wanted to cry but was trying to be brave. "What's wrong, baby?" He slowly opened his hand. In his small palm were 3 tiny white pills. My heart dropped. "Where did you get those?" I whispered. His lips trembled. "Aunt's pills," he said. "She told me to take them every night. She says they help me be a good boy and sleep so I don't disturb you." My head started spinning. "Daniel, how long have you been taking these?" He looked at the floor. "A long time. I don't know. Sometimes she gives me half. Sometimes one. But, Mom." He took a small step closer. His voice broke. "Mom, please. I don't want to take them anymore. They make my head feel heavy. I feel like I'm floating. Sometimes I can't remember what I did in the morning. And I'm scared." His hand was shaking so much that one of the pills fell onto the floor. I grabbed his shoulders gently. "Why didn't you tell me before?" I asked, my voice shaking too. He sniffed. "She said, if I told you, you would be angry. She said you needed rest. She said I talk too much and I move too much and you are tired." Tears filled my eyes. My own sister. My own child. I picked up the pills, put them back in his hand, and then took them from him. "Listen to me," I said, holding his face. "You did nothing wrong. Do you hear me? You are not too much. You are my son. You are perfect. And from now on, you will not take anything unless I give it to you. Do you understand?" He nodded slowly, tears rolling down his cheeks. "Okay, Mom," he whispered. "But, what are the pills? Am I sick?" I swallowed hard. "I don't know," I said honestly. "But I will find out." The next morning, I called in sick at work and took Daniel to the doctor. I put the pills in a small plastic bag and carried them like they were poison. In the waiting room, my leg wouldn't stop shaking. Daniel leaned on my shoulder, looking pale and sleepy. Finally, the nurse called his name. We went in. The doctor took the pills, looked at them closely, and said he would run some tests, on the pills and on Daniel. Hours later, we were back in his office. The room felt colder this time. The doctor walked in holding the small bag and some papers. He sat down, looked straight into my eyes, then at Daniel. "Daniel," he said gently. You were very brave to tell your mom about these. That was the right thing to do. Then he turned to me. Lisa, I need you to prepare yourself. My hands turned cold. What do you mean? I whispered. He held up the pills. These are not simple sleeping vitamins. They are very strong adult pills. If your son continued taking them. He stopped, his face serious, his eyes heavy with something I didn't want to hear. My heart pounded against my chest. What would have happened to my child? I asked, my voice breaking. Doctor, please, just tell me. He took a slow breath, opened his mouth and said. The doctor's words hung in the air like a dark cloud. If your son had kept taking these pills, he said slowly, his body could have shut down. I couldn't breathe. What? My voice came out weak and cracked. Shut down, how? The doctor leaned forward, resting his elbows on the table. These pills are meant for adults with severe anxiety and sleep disorders, he explained gently. In a child's body, they slow the brain too much. Over time, they can cause memory problems, breathing issues, and in some cases, coma. Daniel squeezed my hand. My knees felt soft. I pulled him closer to my side. How long has he been taking them? The doctor asked. I swallowed hard. A few months, I said. Almost every night. The doctor closed his eyes for a moment, like he was holding back anger. That explains his tiredness. His slow reactions. His confusion, he said. Your son is lucky. Very lucky. Lucky. That word made me shake. What do we do now? I asked. First, stop the pills immediately, he said firmly. No more. Not even a small piece. Then he looked at Daniel. Your body will need time to wake up again. Daniel whispered. Will I be okay, sir? The doctor smiled softly. Yes, young man. But we will watch you closely. I nodded, but my heart was screaming. Because the real question wasn't what the pills were doing. It was why my sister gave them to my son. That evening, we went home. The house felt different. Quiet. Heavy. Grace was in the kitchen when we walked in, stirring soup like nothing in the world had changed. Oh, you're back early, she said cheerfully. How was the doctor? I froze. Daniel tightened his grip on my hand. I walked closer to her, slowly. We need to talk, I said. She looked at my face and stopped stirring. What's wrong? She asked, pretending to be calm. I pulled the small plastic bag from my purse and placed it on the table. These, I said. The pills you were giving my son. Her eyes flicked to the bag. Then away. So, she said. I told you already. They are not vitamins, I snapped. They are strong adult medicine. The doctor said Daniel could have stopped breathing. For a moment, she said nothing. Then she laughed. A short, dry laugh. You went to the doctor over that, she said. Lisa, you worry too much. I felt something break inside me. You lied to me, I said, my voice shaking. You scared my child. He was confused. He couldn't remember things. He felt like he was floating. Grace rolled her eyes. Kids exaggerate, she said. You know Daniel. He's dramatic. Don't, I warned. Don't you dare talk about my son like that. Her face changed then. The smile disappeared. Her eyes became sharp. You were never around, she said coldly. You worked all day. You were always tired. I was the one dealing with him. His noise. His energy. So you drugged him? I shouted. I helped him, she snapped back. I helped you. You should be thanking me. Daniel started crying. Stop yelling, he begged softly. I turned to him and wiped his tears. It's okay, baby, I said. Go to your room. He hesitated, then walked away slowly, looking back at me like he was scared to leave. The moment his door closed, Grace stepped closer to me. Her voice dropped low. You know, she said, if you tell anyone, they won't believe you. You're just a tired single mom. Who would they trust, me or you? My blood ran cold. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every sound made me jump. Daniel's door opening. The floor creaking. Grace coughing in the other room. At midnight, I got up quietly and checked on Daniel. He was asleep, breathing softly. I sat beside his bed and held his hand until sunrise. In the morning, I called my mother. I told her everything. There was silence on the line. Then she sighed. Lisa, Grace has always had problems, she said carefully. But she would never hurt a child. Maybe you misunderstood. I felt sick. You think I made this up? I whispered. I'm just saying, my mother replied. Family issues should stay inside the family. I hung up. That's when I knew. I was alone. Over the next few days, Daniel started changing. Slowly. He woke up easier. He smiled more. His eyes looked brighter. But the nights were hard. He had bad dreams. Sometimes he woke up crying, saying, "She's in my room." Each time he said that, my heart stopped. Who? I asked. Aunt, he whispered. She stands there and watches me sleep. I wanted to scream. I locked our bedroom doors at night. I hid the key. Grace noticed. You don't trust me now? She asked one morning. I said nothing. She smiled in a way that made my skin crawl. Then something terrible happened. One afternoon, I came home from work early. The house was quiet. Too quiet. Daniel. I called. No answer. I walked to his room. The door was open. His bed was empty. My heart jumped into my throat. Daniel. I shouted, running through the house. Then I heard it. The bathroom door was locked. Water running. I knocked hard. Daniel. Open the door. No answer. Panic rushed through me. I forced the door open. And what I saw made me scream. Daniel was lying on the bathroom floor. Pale. Weak. Beside him. A crushed white pill stained with water. And in the mirror behind us, I saw Grace standing in the doorway. Watching. Smiling. I screamed so loud my throat burned. Daniel. I dropped to my knees beside him on the cold bathroom floor. My hands were shaking as I touched his face. He was breathing, but barely. Baby, wake up. Please wake up. I cried. His eyelids fluttered. His lips moved. Mom, he whispered, so soft I almost didn't hear it. Behind me, I felt it. That feeling when someone is standing too close. I looked up. Grace. She was leaning against the doorframe, arms crossed, calm. Too calm. Oh dear, she said softly. You're home early. Something inside me snapped. What did you give him? I screamed. What did you give my son? She walked into the bathroom slowly, like this was no big deal. He tripped, she said. Probably tired. I stood up so fast I felt dizzy. Don't lie to me, I shouted, pointing at the crushed pill near the sink. He told me you were still giving him pills. Even after the doctor. Grace's eyes darkened. That boy talks too much, she said coldly. My hands turned into fists. You are leaving, I said. Right now. Pack your things and get out of my house. She laughed. A slow, frightening laugh. You think you can kick me out? She asked. Do you know how bad that would look? A mother accusing her own sister of hurting a child. I didn't care. I picked Daniel up in my arms. He felt so light. Too light. I'm calling the police, I said. Grace stepped in front of the door. You won't, she said quietly. Her eyes locked onto mine. Because if you do, I'll tell them everything. My stomach twisted. What everything? I whispered. She leaned closer. I'll tell them how you left him with me every night. How you trusted me. How you never checked what he took until now. She smiled. They will ask why you didn't notice earlier. My heart pounded hard. She moved aside slowly. Take him to the hospital, she said. I'll be here when you come back. That smile stayed on her face. At the hospital, the nurses rushed Daniel inside. I sat in the waiting room, shaking, my clothes still wet from the bathroom floor. I kept seeing that pill. Crushed. White. Familiar. After what felt like hours, a nurse came out. He will be okay, she said. But we need to run more tests. Relief rushed through me, but it didn't last. I knew one thing. Grace had not stopped. When we came home that night, the house was quiet. Too quiet again. Grace's shoes were gone. Her coat was gone. Her room was empty. On my bed, there was an envelope. My hands shook as I opened it. Inside was a short note. You pushed me into this. Don't blame me for what comes next. I felt sick. The next few days were filled with fear. Daniel refused to sleep alone. Please, Mom, he whispered. Don't let her come back. I pulled him into my bed every night. I triple-locked the door. But fear doesn't care about locks. One night, around 2 a.m., Daniel woke up screaming. She's here, he cried. She's here. I turned on the light. No one's here, I said, forcing my voice to be calm. Then I saw it. On the floor. A white pill. Right beside my bed. My blood turned ice cold. The next morning, I took Daniel to school myself. As I walked back home, my phone vibrated. A message from an unknown number. He still needs help. You can't stop me. I dropped my phone. That afternoon, my son's teacher called. Ma'am, she said nervously, someone picked Daniel up early today. My heart stopped. What? I whispered. I didn't send anyone. She said she was family, the teacher replied. She knew his full name. And yours. I screamed. No, no, no. I ran to the school. Too late. Daniel was gone. I rushed back home, shaking so hard I could barely stand. The front door was open. Inside, the house was silent. On the table, another envelope. My hands trembled as I opened it. If you want to see your son again, come alone. Under the note, a familiar white pill. And an address. My heart raced. I didn't know where she had taken him. I didn't know what she planned to do. But one thing was clear. My sister had crossed a line she could never come back from. And I was about to walk straight into her trap. My hands shook as I stared at the address written on the paper. It was an old part of town. An area people avoided. Empty buildings. Broken streetlights. No children playing outside. I called the police. My fingers were slippery with sweat. But the moment the call connected, my phone buzzed again. Another message. Call the police, and you'll never see him again. I felt weak. I ended the call before anyone answered. I'm coming, I whispered to myself. I'm coming, Daniel. I grabbed my car keys and drove. Every red light felt like torture. My heart banged against my chest so hard it hurt. I kept seeing Daniel's face. His small hands. His scared eyes. The address led me to an old clinic. The sign was half broken. The windows were dusty. The door was slightly open. My stomach turned. I stepped inside. The smell of medicine hit me immediately. Daniel. I called, my voice echoing. No answer. The hallway was long and quiet. My footsteps sounded too loud. Then I heard it. Crying. Mom. My legs almost gave out. Daniel. I ran toward the sound. It came from a room at the end of the hallway. I pushed the door open. And froze. Daniel was sitting on a bed. His hands were tied. His eyes were red from crying. "Mom!" he screamed when he saw me. I rushed to him. Before I could untie him. "Stop!" Grace's voice. She stepped out from behind the door. Calm. Smiling. "You came alone," she said. "Good. What do you want?" I yelled. "Why are you doing this?" She walked closer. "You ruined everything," she said. "He was peaceful. Quiet. You took that away. He was drugged." I shouted. She smiled wider. "I was helping him," she said. "Helping myself too." That's when I truly saw it. She wasn't confused. She wasn't apologetic. She was proud. "Untie him," I begged. "Please. Take me instead." Grace tilted her head. "You would do that?" she asked. "Yes," I cried. "Just let him go." She leaned close to my ear. "I don't want you," she whispered. "I want him calm forever." My blood ran cold. She picked up a syringe from the table. Daniel screamed. "Mom, please." I jumped in front of him. "You touch him and I swear." She laughed. "You can't stop me." But then, a loud bang. The front door slammed. "Police." Grace turned pale. "How?" she gasped. I didn't know either. But I didn't wait. I untied Daniel. We ran. Sirens filled the air. Behind us, Grace screamed. "This isn't over." As officers grabbed her, she stared at me like she wanted me dead. Her eyes promised revenge. Later, at the station, they asked me questions. Lots of them. They found pills in the clinic. Lots of them. Illegal ones. Grace sat in another room, calm again, staring straight ahead. The officer leaned toward me and said quietly, "There's something you need to know." My heart sank. "What?" I asked. "She didn't act alone," he said. "Someone helped her get those pills." My breath caught. "Who?" He slid a photo across the table. When I saw it, my body went cold. Because the face staring back at me was someone I trusted. Someone close. Someone I never suspected. My hands trembled as I stared at the photo on the table. "No, that can't be right," I whispered. The officer watched my face carefully. "You recognize this person?" he asked. I swallowed hard. "Yes," I said slowly. "I trust this person." My heart felt like it was tearing in two. Because the face in that photo belonged to Daniel's school nurse. The same woman who smiled at me every morning. The same woman who once told me, "You're doing a great job, Mom." I felt sick. "How?" I asked. "How could she be involved?" The officer sighed. "We found records," he said. "Medicine taken without permission. Pills reported missing. And messages between her and your sister." My ears rang. "So Grace didn't just take random pills," I said. "She had help." "Yes," the officer replied. "And it looks planned." Planned. That word burned. The next day, I went to Daniel's school. I couldn't stay away. I needed answers. The nurse was not there. Her office door was locked. The principal called me into her office. Her hands shook as she folded them on the desk. "Mrs. Lisa," she said carefully, "we are cooperating fully with the police." I nodded but said nothing. My head was spinning. That night, Daniel finally slept. Really slept. No crying. No shaking. I sat at the edge of his bed, watching his chest rise and fall. I promised myself quietly, "No one will ever hurt you again." But I was wrong. At 3 a.m., my phone rang. I jumped. Unknown number. My heart pounded. I answered. "Hello." Silence. Then breathing. Slow. Heavy. Then Grace's voice. "You think this is over?" she whispered. I felt ice spread through my body. "How are you calling me?" I asked. She laughed. You forgot something important, she said. I always have someone on the outside. The call ended. I stared at my phone. My hands were cold. The next day, the police came again. The officer's face was grim. She's been released on bail, he said. My legs almost gave out. What? I cried. After everything? Temporary, he said. But we're still investigating. I wanted to scream. That afternoon, Daniel came home with a drawing. He held it up proudly. It's us, he said. Mom and me. I smiled through tears. But then I saw it. In the corner of the drawing. A woman. Standing behind us. Smiling. Who's that? I asked softly. Daniel's smile faded. He looked at the floor. She told me to draw her, he whispered. My blood turned cold. Who did? Daniel looked up at me. Aunt, he said. She said she's coming back. At that moment, there was a knock at the door. Slow. Heavy. 3 times. I turned toward it, my heart pounding. Because deep down, I knew. Grace hadn't finished with us yet. The knocking continued. Slow. Heavy. Like whoever was outside wanted me to feel every second. Mom, Daniel whispered, grabbing my shirt. Please don't open it. My heart was beating so fast it hurt. I won't, I whispered back. Go to your room and lock the door. Don't come out, no matter what. He hesitated. She said you wouldn't help me if I told, he said softly. That sentence cut me deeper than any knife. I knelt in front of him and held his face. Listen to me, I said carefully. No one ever has the right to hurt you. Not family. Not anyone. I will always choose you. Tears rolled down his cheeks. He nodded and ran to his room. The knocking stopped. Silence. Then, a voice. Lisa, Grace called from the other side of the door. Open up. Let's talk like sisters. My hands shook. I didn't answer. I know you're in there, she continued. The lights are on. I moved quietly to the window. She was standing there, smiling, calm, like nothing had happened. I picked up my phone and dialed the police with trembling fingers. Before I could press call, my phone buzzed. A text. If you call, I'll tell him the truth you are hiding. My fingers froze. What truth? What are you talking about? I typed back. Her answer came instantly. Ask your son about the night you left him alone. My heart dropped. The night I worked late. The night Grace first helped with the pills. What had she told him? The doorbell rang again. This time, Daniel screamed from his room. Go away. Grace laughed outside. You see, she shouted. He still needs me. I couldn't take it anymore. I opened the door a crack. What do you want? I asked quietly. Her smile widened. I want access, she said. To him. My chest burned. You'll never see him again, I said. She leaned closer to the door. You think that's your choice? She whispered. He trusts me. You threatened him, I snapped. You scared him. He listens to me, she replied. Because I understand him in ways you don't. That's when I noticed something. Her bag. It was half open. Inside it, white bottles. Many of them. My stomach twisted. You're still doing this? I said in horror. Of course, she replied calmly. The world is loud. Children are loud. Someone has to quiet them. I slammed the door shut and locked it. I ran to Daniel's room. He was curled into a ball on his bed. She said you don't love me, he cried. She said the pills were the only reason you smiled. My heart broke right there. I pulled him into my arms. She lied, I said firmly. Everything she says is a lie. There was a loud crash. Glass shattered. I screamed. Grace had broken the living room window. Sirens filled the air again. Someone had called the police. Grace tried to run. This time, they caught her fast. As officers pulled her away, she screamed at me. "You can't protect him forever." Her words echoed in my head long after she was gone. That night, the police stayed nearby. Daniel slept in my arms. I thought it was finally over. But fear has a way of waiting. At 4 a.m., my phone buzzed again. A message from an unknown number. "This does not end with me." And attached, a photo of Daniel, sleeping, taken from inside my house. My scream woke the neighbors. Because now I knew. Someone else was watching us. And they were close. I dropped my phone like it had burned me. The photo stared back at me from the floor. Daniel, asleep in my arms. The angle was wrong. Too close. Someone had been inside my house. I ran to the door and locked it again, even though it was already locked. I checked the windows, the bathroom, the closet. Nothing. But the air felt wrong. Like we weren't alone. The police came back quickly. I showed them the photo. "This wasn't Grace," the officer said slowly. "She's in custody. This was taken minutes ago." My legs went weak. "Then who?" I whispered. He looked at me carefully. "Think, Lisa," he said. "Who else had access to your home, and your child?" My mind raced. Babysitters? No. Neighbors? No. Then it hit me. Someone who was always welcome. Someone I never questioned. "My mother," I said softly. The room went silent. "She defended Grace," I continued, shaking. "She said I misunderstood. She said family issues should stay in the family." The officer nodded slowly. "That's not uncommon," he said. "Sometimes people protect the wrong person, for years." My heart broke in a new way. They went to my mother's house that night. I stayed behind, holding Daniel. He woke up while we waited. "Mom," he whispered. "Is Aunt coming back?" "No," I said quickly. "No one is taking you." He hesitated, then said quietly, "Grandma said Aunt was helping me, like she helped her when she was young." My chest tightened. "What do you mean?" I asked. Daniel looked scared. "She said Aunt learned it from her," he whispered. "She said that's how they kept children quiet, so adults could rest." I couldn't breathe. This wasn't new. This was a pattern. Hours later, the police called. My hands shook as I answered. "Lisa," the officer said, "we found your mother." "And?" I whispered. "There were pills in her house," he said. "Lots of them. Old prescriptions. New ones. And photos of children." My stomach turned. "She admitted she helped Grace," he continued. "She said she thought she was protecting the family, the same way it was done to her." Tears rolled down my face. The truth was worse than I imagined. The next morning, social services arrived. They asked questions. Hard questions. But they looked at Daniel gently. "You did nothing wrong," the woman told him. He nodded slowly. "They arranged protection for us. New locks. New addresses. A fresh start." But inside me, fear still lived. That night, as I packed our bags, Daniel sat on the bed quietly. "Mom," he said softly, "are we safe now?" I wanted to say yes. I really did. But before I could answer, there was a knock on the door. Not loud. Not slow. 3 soft taps. Familiar. My heart stopped. I looked at the door, then at Daniel. And I knew. The past doesn't let go easily, especially when it lives inside family. The 3 soft taps stayed frozen in the air. Tap, tap, tap. Daniel's fingers dug into my arm. I could feel his heart racing through his palm. "Mom, don't open it," he whispered. I knelt in front of him and looked into his eyes. The same eyes I almost lost to silence, fear and false help. This time, I said softly, I'm not afraid. I walked to the door slowly. Every step felt heavy, but strong. When I opened it, I didn't see Grace. I didn't see my mother. I saw 2 police officers, and a social worker standing between them. We're here for you, the woman said gently. You can leave now. And for the first time in months, I exhaled. That night, we didn't pack memories. We packed survival. I threw clothes into bags. Daniel grabbed his favorite book and his old superhero toy. When we stepped out of the house, I didn't look back. I was done living where fear once slept beside us. The police drove us to a temporary safe place. The windows were locked. The doors were guarded. Daniel slept that night for the first time without shaking. I sat awake, watching him breathe. I counted every breath. The days that followed were slow and painful. Daniel had nightmares. Sometimes he woke up crying, saying, "She's coming back." Each time I held him. "No," I whispered. "Not anymore." We talked to counselors. We told our story again and again. Every time I spoke, my voice became stronger. Every time Daniel spoke, he became lighter. The truth came out in court. Everything. The pills. The lies. The clinic. The photos. The nurse lost her license forever. Grace was sentenced and labeled what she truly was, a danger. And my mother. That part hurt the most. She admitted it all. How she believed children should be fixed. How silence meant peace. She was ordered into treatment and banned from any contact with my son. I cried that day, not because I missed her, but because I wished she had been better. Months passed. We moved far away. A new city. A small, warm apartment. Daniel started a new school. The first time he came home smiling, he said, "Mom, I laughed today, and it didn't hurt." I cried in the kitchen so he wouldn't see me. One evening, as the sun painted the room orange, Daniel sat beside me. "Mom," he said quietly. "Yes, baby. Why didn't you give me pills when I couldn't sleep?" I took a breath. "Because your feelings weren't a problem," I said. "They were a message." He thought for a moment, then nodded. "I like being loud," he said. I kissed his forehead. "So do I." If you are watching this and something feels familiar, please listen. Children don't need to be controlled. They need to be protected. If this story moved you, please like this video, subscribe to this channel, and turn on the notification bell, so you never miss stories that can save a life. And in the comments, tell me where you are watching from. You are not alone. And speaking up can change everything.